I've been meaning to get Plex on its own system, especially in my lab environment. You can't test it if it's not there. So I've had a Raspberry Pi essentially begging me to do something with it, and I kind of can't think of anything better at this point than installing Plex. So this is a Raspberry Pi 4 gigabytes of RAM model, and is a great platform for a little energy efficient Plex web server. So the downside is it doesn't transcode well because it's not that great of a processing unit, but it's great as a little web server. So let's go ahead and install Plex Media Server on a Raspberry Pi. To get started, we're gonna jump into our Unify controller and look and see if we can find what our IP address is. And so our IP address is 192.168.1.15. Yours may be different than mine. Take whatever the address is for your Raspberry Pi. I suggest connecting over Ethernet. The other piece that I've done so far is I've installed Raspbian Buster Lite, which is the server equivalent or the command line equivalent of Raspbian. There is no graphical user interface and will require a command line the entire time. We're going to use Terminal on the Mac. You're welcome to use PuTTY on a Windows PC. But to get connected, before I installed my SD card in my Raspberry Pi, I was able to add a file on the Raspberry Pi in the boot directory called SSH. And that allows me to SSH into the device before it's ever been booted. So to get in, we now know the IP address. We're going to type in SSH Pi at 192.168.1.15 and then type in the password for Pi. You may get a pop-up that says something to the effect of needing to save the certificate or the SSL encryption. That's all right. Go ahead and type in yes, and then you'll type in your Pi user's credentials. The password for our Pi user is Raspberry, and you should be in. So first things first, let's set up and do configuration on a Raspberry Pi. So we'll do a sudo raspi-config, and we want to start with localization. So number 4, and we're going to change our locale and scroll all the way down to, we want English US, at least for me. Find what is equivalent to your country and language. But yeah, we're going to jump to English US, US UTF-8, hit space, and then tab OK. And now we want, again, English US UTF-8. It's going to go ahead and generate the locales. Now we can go back into our localization options. We're going to change our time zone to America. And then I'm near Detroit. Did I not choose America? No, we're all right, yeah. Detroit. And then localization options, we want to change our keyboard layout. Now we can go ahead and change the default password for our Pi user. So to do that, we'll choose the first option and now type in a secure password. Tell me you didn't type in Raspberry. Do not type in Raspberry. Think of a good password other than Raspberry. Now we're good to go ahead and finish. Actually, we'll go back into sudo raspi-config. The last bit I would like to change is network options and host name. So go ahead and read this, but essentially it should only contain letters A through Z, digits 0 through 9, and a hyphen. Do not put in blank spaces. So we'll name this our Pi-Plex. So we know it's a Raspberry Pi and also a Plex server. Tab OK and hit return. Now we can tab over and finish. And yes, we want to reboot. So we'll clear, and now we can ping 192.168.1.15. And we'll wait to see it come back up. Our Pi is back up, clear that out. Now we need to SSH Pi at 192.168.1.15 and type in the password you set for your Pi user. It's not Raspberry, is it? Now to get going, we need to do a sudo apt-get update. This updates all of the different packages on the system. Then we'll go a sudo apt-get upgrade, which will upgrade all of the different packages on the system. Because this system is a brand new install, we want to make sure everything is up to date and we're getting the latest and greatest of all the different packages that are installed on our Raspberry Pi, as well as setting it up so we get the latest and greatest package of Plex Media Server. So now that all the packages are updated that were installed on the Raspberry Pi, we need to install the repository that Plex uses. And so Plex uses the HTTPS protocol, which is not currently installed on this Raspberry Pi. To install that, we need sudo apt-get install space apt-transport-https. And then hit return. It's going to go ahead and install that repository. And now we can add the Plex repositories to the apt package manager. So to do that, we'll type in curl space https://downloads.plex-keys/plex_key space pipe space sudo apt-get space sudo apt-key space add dash, and then you can hit return. Now that the Plex key is installed, we can add the official Plex repository. So to do that, we'll type in echo space deb space https://downloads.plex.tv/repo/deb space public space main space pipe space sudo t space //apt//sources.list.d/plex-media-server.list, and then hit return. So now the apt package repository can see Plex Media Server. And so what we can do is type in sudo apt-get update, which will now update the Plex Media Server information on our Raspberry Pi. And now we can go ahead and install Plex Media Server by typing sudo apt-get space install space Plex Media Server, return. And we want to go ahead and take the default of no. And now Plex is installed. We're going to want to make sure that we set our Pi user as the default user for Plex, not the Plex user. So to set up our override configuration file, we are going to do a sudo space mkdir for make directory space /etc/system/d/system/plex media server.d. Next, we need to go ahead and copy our current defaults file over to our override configuration file. So to do that, we'll do a sudo cp//lib/systemd/system/plex media server.service space slash Etsy slash systemd slash system slash Plex media server.d slash, and then type in override.conf. Now what we can do is do a sudo space nano space slash Etsy slash system d slash system slash Plex media server dot d slash override dot conf. Hit return. In here we can go in and change our user to pi and our group to pi. Everything else is the default of Plex. And if you want to change anything more in here, feel free to change anything else. I'm going to leave it all as defaults. So we'll do a Control X and then type Y for yes, and then you can hit return to save it out to the location that it's currently saved in. Now we need to make sure we reload our system. So to do that, we're going to type in sudo space systemctl space daemon dash reload, return. And now we can type in sudo systemctl space start space Plex media server. Now Plex should be running. To test it, what we can do is go out to our web browser and go to http://192.168.1.15 port 32400/web. And there we have Plex. Plex is running. The final piece we probably want to do is go and set up a static address. I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I'll catch you inside Plex. So now that we're logged in, Plex is, again, runs on the computer where you keep your media and can scan media and automatically organize it, and then will play media on any screen with your favorite Plex app. So we'll hit got it, and we're going to let Plex start up. We're not going to add Plex Pass. I'm not paying for it. And great, it found our rpi-plex. I don't care to allow it to access the media outside my home at this point. This server is currently running on my lab network, not on my home network. And so this server only has the bare minimum media to do some testing. So we'll go ahead and hit next, and then we can add library, and we'll do movies. We can call it movies next. We'll browse for the media folder. Edit our library, add library, and we'll just do movies next, and done. We'll jump into our more here to our movies. And we can see here's our drone footage. It does take a little bit for it to pull in the document, but now here we go, set it up, and we want to see first this is our 720p. We'll go ahead and play that, and looks quite good on our screen. We'll go full screen. 720p looks great. Jump back out and go back into our movies. We'll hit up our 1080p file and can see there's a little buffering, but overall it looks really good. Get out of there and go back to our movies, and we'll try our 4K footage. Took a little bit to load, and there is a little bit of buffering that goes on, but overall it's running this 4K footage quite well. So now I've got some use out of that Raspberry Pi we're set up, we're ready to go, we're running Plex, we're watching content, and you can add as many different disks as you like. You can have your content saved out to a NAS or on external hard drives. I'm currently running it off an SSD, but you're welcome to get your footage or your media onto your Plex server any way you choose. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button and go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content similar to this or similar to networking. And go ahead and click the bell icon for notifications on when I post more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya!